Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Do you know that in the world of computers, an upgrade is generally a replacement of hardware, software, or firmware with a newer or quote-unquote better version?
When you're talking about Windows 10, I don't know that I would go with better.
Okay.
But newer, definitely.
So I was going to ask you, so like in the world, we are technical people.
We are.
And we have been for a long time, for most of our lives. What are some of the worst upgrades in the history of computing? And I was going to go back to like Windows, first of all, like Windows 8.
Windows 8,
that was horrible.
Yeah. I would say that for me, though, the worst one was probably, well, there's a couple of actually Apple ones I can think of, but the biggest one I think that people think would be Windows Vista.
Oh, that
because
was
when I upgraded
horrible.
to Vista, I remember that none of my peripherals worked.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I upgrade my computer and nothing that connects to the computer would connect anymore because Vista didn't recognize them.
Right.
Yeah, that was super fun. Suddenly not being able to print or access even my CD-ROM drive at the time. I mean, anything that wasn't internal had no idea what I was talking about. I'm like, no, the printer, the one that's connected to you in the printer port.
Nah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No. Don't I look pretty though?
Vista? Yeah.
Windows Vista.
Look at my new backgrounds.
Look at
yes,
what
but I
I
want to
got.
print, but backgrounds.
Okay, and that's Windows Vista's 2007. So for anybody who's wondering, like, what year is that? But you know what's probably worse than Windows Vista is Windows ME.
Oh, yes.
Millennium Edition.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I was working at Best Buy when that came out. Like in the software and stocking it and, getting it up and, selling it to people, having to be like, you'll love this, I swear.
I didn't know PC World named Microsoft Windows ME as the 4th worst tech product of all time.
Wow.
All time. What's number 1? America Online.
Oh, oh yes, I had an AOL account for a long time.
We all did.
Even had a Star Wars themed name.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
Do you want to share?
Well, sure. I think it's dead by now because I don't think even AOL's on it. But yes, it was Rogue5 standing by at AOL.com.
Oh, wow, nice.
Which to the hardcore to the casual Star Wars nerds are like, nice, Luke, nice. To the hardcore Star Wars nerds are like, why did you choose your handle off of Noara Ven? Because Luke was Red 5.
Red 5, yeah.
Not
Rouge.
Rogue
Maybe
5.
they thought you said Rouge.
Oh, Rouge 5? Yeah. I have a friend who I'm still good friends with, and she does not listen to the podcast, who had a fight with the DMV because they kept sending her Rouge 5 license plates.
Oh.
She's like, no, it's Rogue 5. And they would go, okay. And they'd send another one, and it was Rouge 5 again. And she had to go back and forth 3 or 4 times to get them to go, the placement of the letters matter.
Well, yeah, because that's not. Oh, my.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a horrible. All right. And just to be fair, we're Mac people, but if you had to go back to what's the worst upgrades ever in the history of Apple products, although I disagree, but I'm in the minority on this, it may be Final Cut 10. When Final Cut 10 first came out in 2011, people went nuts because Final Cut was a huge video editing program in the industry. The Final Cut 10, Apple just totally reinvented the entire thing. I love it. Not other people love it as much as me, and they've slowly gotten back to it, but it's no longer what it used to be. So anyway, upgrades. Sometimes good, sometimes lateral, sometimes an upgrade can be a downgrade. It could be really bad. Which leads us into this minute.
Yeah, that's right. When you have one thing trying to do the job of another far inferior product, like we have in here at minute 71 of Iron Man 2 from 2010, director Jon Favreau. We pick up where we left off, which is the dissection of the Mark II armor. So in the end of 70, we saw the camera slowly descending. We saw pieces being pulled off, and so now we pick up where that left off, which is the suit is being disassembled. So we see they actually have opened it up, sort of like they're doing an autopsy, and they're pulling pieces out. And so we're getting to see kind of more of the armor than we've seen before. Like even in the first Iron Man, we didn't really get to see much of what was under the plates. And now as the suit is laying there buried, we actually can see the wires and servos and circuits and all the other things that are exposed there too. But the most important thing is, of course, what draws your eye is the arc reactor. So we see then Rhodey is reaching down and very carefully, like an operation from Operation, removing that. And so as we were sort of watching this before we started, you were saying like, well, I don't know why he's being so careful. And it's like, well, yeah, but you can't touch the sides. Remember?
This is true.
And that was also that was established in the first Iron Man movie too, when he was having Pepper. He had to make sure that it didn't touch the sides, or else he'd get a shock. And of course, we don't want to shock the armor, because that's the thing is every good tech knows touch metal first. You don't want to carry that static electricity onto whatever you're working on.
Exactly.
So he sets aside, and then Rhodey takes this, and then Major Allen is sort of looking at it carefully, like, oh, you think that's the power source? And it's sort of like, Major Allen, have you not read your briefing? Like, is this not common knowledge in the people who are going to be working on this unit? He doesn't know what an arc reactor is? Like, I know that he doesn't understand necessarily how it works. I mean, we barely understand how it works, but does he not know what it is at all?
Well, it's, how I took this is, and this is an interesting exchange between the two of them. Okay, so here's Rhodey. And by the way, let's just say kudos to the prop masters.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful practical effect. I mean, this looks just like the version I know you can buy online. I have a few of these arc reactor replicas. Beautifully self-lit. I mean, this is a practical effect. You can see the way it reflects off his hands and everything. Really well done. It's the thing glowing bright white. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the power source. Which what I think the character is, and this is Allen. He's
Major Allen. Mm-hmm.
Major Allen. I think what the point of this is that he's trying to say, hey, so power source, huh? Do you think maybe we could take a closer look at that and figure out like how to make one of those?
Yeah, that's the intention. But it does sound more like, hey, what's the glowing thing?
It comes off kind of ridiculous, but yeah.
Yes, because then Rhodey says, Major, this is not a scientific exercise. Let's just focus on arming it, right? Which is like, it's not a scientific exercise. Like, it's still science. But I guess they're still operating under the delusion that the military is not interested in the arc reactor, which, really?
Right.
You don't think they want to have one of those on every battleship that they have out there?
Exactly.
Well, on every flying fortress, on every stealth plane?
Exactly. And I would think that Rhodey here is his doing his best to protect Tony's IP, right? For lack of a better term. Like he's trying to protect the gold here.
Right, because he knows what's about to happen. He knows who's coming in and doesn't want to get it. So he makes sure that the most dangerous weapon in the world is carefully stowed away in his duffel bag. How secure? Because no one would think to look 6 inches to your left.
Okay, what I think, and obviously what I think he's doing is he's trying to immediately.
Is your bag glowing?
Is that your bag? You just happen to see me? What's going on here? I think he's really just trying to get it out of view for who is about to enter the scene.
That's right, because after Major Allen says, yes, sir, who enters the scene but Justin Hammer? That's right, it's Hammer time. He is sucking on lollipop. Well, just like Miko would enjoy. Hammer's sucking on lollipop. Love's going to get you down. So this is a choice that Sam Rockwell always made. He always wanted to have something sweet. So like when we saw him in the hangar, he was eating ice cream. Now his lollipop, it's something that it's sort of a part of the character choice that he made of that this is the guy who eats dessert first. And so like he's, gets to do whatever he wants. And what he wants to do is eat candy as much as he can. So we see, and it's great. We see him like in the shadows, and you know exactly who it is, even without seeing him. And because he's already starting to talk, and he'll continue to talk for the next couple of minutes straight. So he says, "Oh yes, yes. Is it my birthday?" And then he sees, like, as he sees the suit laying out there, he says, "You got it. What did you do?" I love such a great line because, like, as much as it is like he really wants to know, it's also boom right to Rhodey's heart.
Yes.
Like, what did you do? Did you betray Tony Stark? Did you steal from your best friend? That's awesome, bro. High five. Like,
Well, it's Justin Hammer's awkward social way of trying to befriend people, right?
Yeah.
Like this is the way he doesn't have a lot of close personal friends. At least that's what you gather.
Yeah.
And this is the best way he understands to create relationships with people. So he's the whole thing. Yeah. Is it my birthday? Like, you guys did all of this for me. No, that's not the situation at all. And then second, like, yeah, he goes right in like with the knife, like, what did you do? And doing it in a way that, he's dual purpose here. He's bringing light to the fact you jacked Tony. And two, I'm kidding with you, kind of like you're my brother, so that we can put our arms around each other and have a drink, which is not going to happen.
No.
So,
but
not cool.
But he's trying. So,
he's
yeah,
trying.
He says to his wife, well, what did you do? And he says, is this what I think it is? Like, it's just like, this is the best possible scenario, because it's like, he's not even thinking about the pretending to be dead Russian that he's got building drones and playing with a bird. Like, this is like sole focus of his life. Like, I get to play with an Iron Man armor. So we see as he then approaches the table on the other side, as there's like the doctor standing over to do their operation. We see so a little. I don't think it's product placement. I think it's actually just very good prop work, because there is a Snap-on cabinet right next to them holding a bunch of tools. So Snap-on is a manufacturer of tools for this kind of thing. Basically, it's exactly what would be in this kind of hangar, because they make tools for aircraft and high-end stuff. They were founded in 1920 as the Snap-on Wrench Company in the great state of Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Nice.
Chavazel. By Joseph Johnson and William Cederman. The business manufactured and marketed 10 sockets that would snap on to 5 interchangeable handles. And the company slogan was, 5 do the work of 50. And they're still in business today and still
in business.
Very well.
The slogan doesn't necessarily roll off the tongue, but that's something.
But, in 1920, people were like, that's catchy.
Hey,
I think this Snap-on's going places.
With 5 fingers, and I can do the work of 50 fingers. Never mind. Oh, boy.
What's that, Mr. Businessman? You want to do more business with the sockets? Have we got the company for you? So then, obviously, Rhodey, not a fan of Hammer, but this is the first time we've really got to see them interacting like this.
Right.
So Rhodey says, to answer the question, is this what I think it is? He says, yes, it is. Hammer, I want to know what you're going to do for us. Like, business. Like, put down your lollipop.
Exactly.
Focus on the thing. Like, you're working for the military. Like, get serious. So Justin says, what am I going to do for you? Well, the first thing I'm going to do for you is upgrade your software. And then second, I think I should, and that's where he cuts off. But we need to focus on that part right now, because that part is extremely important. So the first thing Hammer's going to do is wipe Stark Tech. So he's going to make sure all remnants of Jarvis are gone from that system, and the Hammer operating system, which we already know is really, really not up to code, because we saw Ivan hack it within like 30 seconds before. That's the operating system he's going to put on. Gee, I wonder if that's going to be important later on in this movie, that there's a different operating system running this armor than there was before.
Let's just say
they just lay it out there as if Justin's just yada, 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 yada. But like, that's hugely important to the third act.
Yeah. It's going to be a little compromised. Let's just say that.
Yeah, exactly. Because, the thing that's great about Justin Hammer is his hiring practices. Because everyone he works for them are entirely trustworthy and above board and would never do anything to sabotage any of the work that he was trying to accomplish. I mean, that's something that all of us can agree on. So then Rhodey cuts him off and says, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about firepower. And of course, Justin is a weapons manufacturer, so this is why they brought him in. This is what he does. So Justin says, "Well, you're talking to the right guy," and we hear the loud crunch as he bites into his lollipop. Okay. Now we can see he's gotten down to business, because he's taken off the jacket now. It's like, oh baby.
But okay,
salesman time,
and we're going to see something really audacious here in like a second. But okay, I love the fact that he says this. He crunches the lollipop. Now I know we've said, Sam Rockwell said this is part of the character. He wants something sweet.
Yeah.
But I also think what it is, especially in this moment, he wants something that is completely out of place in the moment. And I think what his goal is here is to have something so out of place that it puts everybody off balance, right? And of course, these guys, they don't care. Dude, you could have walked in with like a foot-long Subway sandwich, right? And they'd be like, whatever, we don't care. But, I think normally he kind of knows that he puts people off balance so that he can take an upper hand in conversations or, kind of surprise them. Yeah. And in this situation, he bites down the lollipop like, okay, time for business. And then he gets the whole theatrics ready of his, shall we say, runway walk of artillery.
That's right. So, yeah, right. It's like, and now allow me to show you the catalog. So he strips off. He's just in the vest. He's got the gloves on. He's ready to go. And so he starts with the Claridge high-tech semi-automatic 9mm pistol. Now, this is an interesting choice to start off with because this gun actually has a little bit of controversy attached to it. So the Claridge high-tech, also known as the Gonks GA, has a controversial history due to the feud between the designer Leos John Gantz and his own Gantz Armament Incorporated of North Hollywood, California, and the subsequent manufacturers of the gun, Joe and Gail Claridge of Claridge High Tech in Northridge, California. Gonks designed the original pistol and the rifle carbine version of the firearm between 1984 and 1990. Claridge took over production and made changes to the design that he did not agree with and produced more firearms in the years between 1990 and 1994. They were forced to close up shop due to legal problems with Gonks. So this gun has destroyed a company and nearly crippled a man's design work because of that. And yet this is the one that Justin chose, which was probably coincidental, but still pretty cool.
Well, no, okay. What I think I love about this is...
And all information was got from the Internet Movie Firearms Database.
Oh, so we love that so much.
Those hardworking people over there, they do the hard work. We just report on it and pretend like we're smart.
As most things, yes.
Yep.
So, okay, what you gotta love about this transition is that it cuts to the scene of him, just his hands. You see the tail of one of the fighter jets that's in the hangar.
Yep.
You see his hands, but okay, this says so much about him because what you see is this, and actually I think they started with this because it was the smaller, like cool looking pistol, right?
Right.
Which of course you'd already say
he's working his way up through caliber and firepower. And
he's starting small, and I get that. But you see his white gloved hands, and these are like ridiculous gloves that you would think a butler or like someone who works in a museum would be using, right? An artifact. You see his cufflinks and his French cuffed shirt, which is outrageous.
Yeah.
And then you see what obviously looks like the band of an enormously expensive Rolex or some other kind of watch, which we can't see the face, so we don't know. It just says everything like, I'm just here as a showman. Like,
right. Yeah.
I mean, barely know what I'm talking about.
He knows his, he knows his stuff. Like, obviously, as we're seeing, like he doesn't like look at the tag to know what each thing is. Like he actually, the other thing is Justin Hammer is sort of thought of as a joke, but like he knows his business. Like,
he does. He knows these
right now.
Items, right.
This is where he's in his prime. Like this is his stuff because he's in showman mode. And so I love the fact that like a traveling salesman, he's probably got cases of these things that bring in and just like, let me show you the new models, and like opens it up and shows all the.
Well, he's a car salesman.
This is also my favorite look for Justin in the movie.
Oh yeah,
like this is like the when I think of Justin Hammer, this is the quintessential with the jacket off and the vest and the gloves on and showing off all the stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So, and unfortunately, that is where the minute comes to an end, as his spiel is just getting up and going.
And the minute we end with where he basically does this nice pivot.
Yep.
Oh, we see. First of all, we see Rhodey just give him the most disgusted look on his face. Like, I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe I have to stand here and do this. And you better up the game here pretty quick, right? and then we go back to it. Sam Rockwell does such a great job with this. He's like, he's literally on the runway. He's doing a pirouette with his firearm, where he shows it, pulls it back, and then starts to fan it out in front of him, like, and here's this.
Just like a YouTuber doing a product review, like holding it up to the camera with their hand behind it so that the camera focuses on it. Like he knows his stuff about like showing off all the inner workings.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see more guns. and more Justin Hammer.
It's if you're a gun fan, you do not want to miss 72 because we're going deep into gun lore and there.
Nice.
That was my favorite look for Justin Hammer, but if you want to tell us about what your favorite looks for all the characters are, you can do so over on Facebook. Yay. Yes, we have our very own Facebook group. It's called the Marvel Movie Minute and Next Reel Film Podcast Executive Lounge. You can ask to come in, and we are sharing information there. You can post about, saying, I think Tony Stark looked the best when he was in the donut. Or you could say, I think he looked the best when he was peeing in the suit. I mean, so many great looks for Tony in this movie. Like when he, it was climbing, the palladium poison was climbing up his neck. I mean, really, it's a fashion plate kind of movie. So you can discuss all that over there. You have to ask for a membership because we're trying to keep out the bots and the weirdos. But anyone else is welcome to come in and play with us.
You had me at in the donut.
I think that's where our hearts are always in the donut.
Perhaps. Yes.
So that wraps up for 71. We'll be back here to talk about 72 when Hammer's spiel continues and we get really, really into guns. So you don't want to miss that. Enough said.
Bye.